I feel like we've lost the ability to trust ourselves. So people
Mm,
go into it already thinking that they are not going to succeed because, you know, in having integrity to your word is very powerful. So if over the years you say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to start this new plan on Monday,"
yeah,
Monday comes, you don't follow through on what you're saying. Oh,
yeah.
it's Monday and it's the first of the month. I mean, I am guiltier than ever. It's Monday and it's the first of the month. Well, I know I got to make a change here because it's only right. Monday comes. I'm like, oh, but the sun didn't come out. So maybe next Monday, right? Any excuse in the world. But what is that doing?
Yeah.
That is undermining your will. You're telling your brain one thing and you're not following through with what you're saying.
Joining us again is Jazmin. She's the creative visionary behind the digital space, Jazz Up Your Life. Jazmin released over 100 pounds of both physical and emotional weight. Last week, she shared with us her personal journey, and we asked her back this week to share a little more because we got some more questions. My name is Monique Scott.
Hey, this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe and comment below your biggest takeaway from today's topic, or feel free to share your expertise. Hi, Jazz. Welcome back.
Hello. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. Hey, let's start where we left off last week. We talked about what water fasting is. Can you start off by sharing some of the benefits of water fasting?
Mhm.
Yes, totally. One of the wonderful benefits of water fasting is mental clarity. Your brain fog is lifted if you experience that. In time, not only do you, release physical weight, but you can just feel like lighter on your feet, like your movements feel quicker and more just aligned. I would say those are, some of the greatest benefits. Also, like on average, people lose about 2 pounds a day while water fasting. So that's a great benefit to stay on and, stay motivated. You're, healing and cleansing your body. You don't actually know all the processes that are taking place, but we know that the body is intelligent. So, it knows really how to, get in there and do the type of healing, cleansing. You actually reverse aging, right? You really do because through the power of, like water fasting, your skin gets tighter, your complexion clears, all kinds of things. So actually you get younger, I would say. And even people say you can't get back your time, but when you're water fasting, you really find you have a lot more time because so much goes into food preparation, going to the grocery
Hmm.
store, going out to eat, thinking about what you want to eat, all these things around food. And it's like I felt like I had so much more time through water fasting that I could, be more productive with the time. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So those are a few of the benefits.
A lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
So, why do you think people struggle with it?
Mm-hmm.
Struggle with water fasting.
Yes.
Um, Probably for a lot of different reasons. I would say one, people don't understand what is really happening per se. They don't understand the science behind it. They don't understand the whole process. So if you're one of those people that could possibly struggle just based on you not knowing, you're less inclined to be able to complete it. People also struggle because they don't properly prep for a water fast. So, when beginning a water fast, now you can just jump in right into it if you really want to, but that's not highly recommended at all. You want to go through a process of decreasing your eating window to the point where you're not eating at all. So that's kind of a combination of intermittent fasting, OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, moving into juice fasting, then finally water fasting. And that is over a period of a week that at minimum to, moving toward that, start switching to high water content fruits and vegetables, hydrating yourself now. Like, don't, switch from steak potatoes and then just think you can just jump into something else because you'll continue to have those cravings, right? So
Yeah.
properly prepping is important. That would help people stay on it. Understanding what's really happening and going on in your body is very powerful, that people don't know, which stops them. And really just self-trust, I would say, is something that would stop people from, whether honestly that be water fasting or any form of lifestyle transformation, because I feel like we've lost the ability to trust ourselves. So people go into it already thinking that they are not going to succeed because, in having integrity to your word is very powerful. So if over the years you say, oh yeah, I'm going to start this new plan on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday comes, you don't follow through on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Monday and it's the first of the month. I mean, I am guiltier than ever. It's Monday and it's the first of the month. Well, I know I got to make a change here because it's only right. Monday comes, I'm like, oh, but the sun didn't come out. So maybe next Monday, right? Any excuse in the world. But what is that doing?
Yeah.
That is undermining your will. You're telling your brain one thing and you're not following through with what you're saying. Even something as little as you're watching TV, you're going to get up in 15 minutes and wash the dishes. 15 minutes comes, you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. Constantly, all these constant thing are not following through of what you're saying. You're not able to follow through because you've lost all your self-trust. So I would say that would be the third piece of why people don't stick to it, because they go in already thinking they're not going to be able to succeed because they don't trust themselves enough.
Yeah. Wow. That's very deep. Commitment is very important. And that was one of the questions I was asking, in between is, okay, so going on a water fast, and it's, just liquid, just water. I'm imagining within the first couple hours of not taking in any food, it's a challenge, right? So how do you start that off with that strong conviction, and what keeps you from straying?
Yeah, you definitely want to have coping mechanisms, right? Ways to cope when, food is no longer an outlet, right? Because food, especially if you have an emotional relationship with food, and I think all of society does, right? Like, think when you were younger, you got an A on something. Oh, let's go down and get ice cream. So you're rewarded for getting an A. So you have that relationship with food. Someone passes in the family. What does everybody bring you? Here's comfort food. You can't be comforted by the person. Here's all this comfort food, right? So food and emotion is just hand in hand in society. So once you kind of remove the food, it's like, now what? I'm feeling all these emotions. And what stops people from continuing on is they don't want to feel those emotions. You got to feel it in order to heal it. That's why this journey is super emotional. It's way more than physical, but you can't suppress all these feelings any longer. You have to release them, right? Because think, all the things that you perhaps have buried with food, you're drinking water, these are sprouting, right? All these seeds you've planted, they're sprouting, and it's not always comfortable. So one way to cope, I would say, is journaling, right? There's a lot of power in journaling, of like setting a timer, 10, 12 minutes, writing down, your thoughts and feelings, what comes up. I'm sure people have heard of the concept, but do they actually follow through with it? And my thing on journaling is, it's great. Write what you feel, whether it's, good, bad, or otherwise. After that, throw the piece of paper away. Burn the paper, right? Because if this is an emotional release, why are you reabsorbing that back into you after you've let it go? That's where I think we go wrong with the journaling. You go back and read something from 5 years ago that you let go of, and you feel it all over again, right? Just immediately. That's how we know time is an illusion.
Yeah.
So journaling is a good coping mechanism. You kind of have to find what works for you. Like, I burn candles a lot. Food scented candles, because I wasn't eating, but I still wanted to smell food, whether that be, candy or, whatever infused candles that was food related. Meditation, there's a whole lot of different coping mechanisms, but you just really, as a whole, have to find other ways to cope with your not having food. So was that, it was a two-part question. I don't know the second
Oh,
part.
yes, you definitely answered the question.
Okay.
You also talked something about having a strong foundational relationship with self. What do you mean by that?
So your relationship with yourself affects all other relationships, literally. So when I say have a strong foundational relationship with yourself, it's easy for people to think of like a partner, like, yeah, I want, it to be based on trust, honesty, listening, and communicating, right? I think the average person would say this is a good foundation for a partnership. That is the same type of relationship that you need to have with yourself, right? I mentioned self-trust, the ability to trust yourself. We don't have it. We have to build it back up. How do we do that? You start small. Every day at 3 o'clock, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and take 3 deep breaths. Breathing is very powerful because we can choose to do that consciously or unconsciously. That's about the only bodily system we can do that. We can't say, oh, yeah, let's filter our own blood. No, breathing is about the only thing. So every day at the same time, do something. Make it small, 1 to 3 minutes, nothing major, because then you'll be more inclined to not do it, right? So take 3 deep breaths every day at the same time. Set a timer in your phone, follow through on that every day until you're ready to build on. That is something small that will reestablish your self-trust. That's the first piece. The second piece is honesty. So whether you're going through a water fasting journey, a healing journey, health and wellness, whatever it is, you have to be honest with yourself. We're not honest with ourselves, right? For me, I stayed in an unhealthy, toxic relationship way too long because I was not being honest with myself. I knew I shouldn't have been there. I knew I shouldn't have stayed for numerous reasons, but I just tried to push it down, push it back. Meanwhile, I'm getting larger and larger because I wasn't honest with myself. We're in positions that are unfulfilling because we're not honest with ourselves because, we fear certain things, but it's just like if you get really honest with yourself about what you're doing and why you're doing it, or what you're not doing and why you aren't, the light bulbs will continue to come on. And if you move through yourself with that honesty, that is on the forward path to transformation. That's honesty, right? And then the third one is listening and communicating. Our body is always communicating with us. We're just lousy listeners, right? Everything from, you have a headache. You don't have an Advil deficiency. You aren't deficient in Tylenol. You're not. The body doesn't even recognize those things. So how are we giving it Tylenol and Advil when it doesn't know? You might be dehydrated. You might need some water. You might be stressed out due to work, children, job, whatever, but your body is communicating with you, right? It whispers all the time. We don't hear it until it's screaming. When we're on the way to the hospital, when we're in, the ambulance, it's screaming because it's like, oh, okay, heart attack, okay, this, okay, that, but it's always whispering. Little things like, you can't do milk or dairy. I know I can't. I wasn't listening, right? I'm lactose intolerant. Most people are. But I'm burping, I'm, constipation, diarrhea, all these things. This is the body saying like, we're not feeling this milk, Jazz, but you steadily pulling it in us, right? So it's until it becomes extreme till we tap in. So we got to listen and communicate with our bodies because they are always talking to us. So that's the triangle of self. Trust, honesty, listening, communicating. And that's the foundation that will take you far in life.
Can you run those back again, the 3?
Yeah, self-trust,
trust,
honesty, and listening and communicating with your body.
Yes. Okay, everybody take notes. Take notes. We preaching today.
Right now.
Right now. Amen. Okay. So you also talk about creating a narrative shift. What does that mean?
So the narrative shift, I've kind of brushed on it all throughout, but it's basically just kind of like reframing, your whole idea. I feel like life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. You decide how you want your life to be. Like you create it, right? And that goes from, word choice, from the standpoint of like, I have to go to work. I have to do this. Sometimes we dress our, opportunities as something that we don't want to do, but we need to move from a space of like, I get to eat high vibrational foods. I get to exercise, right? There's plenty of paraplegics out there that wish they could. So we have to shift the narrative and move from a space of really more gratitude, right? The narrative shift is, I'm not losing weight. I'm permanently releasing weight. You know what I mean? I'm no longer trying. I am striving. You know what I mean? Like, we have to go from thinking of a scarcity mindset to abundance. There is enough for everyone, right? Those little things, however, people don't really think that they make a difference, but every morning people wake up and start with "I am tired," right? I am are the two most powerful words in the universe. So the second you wake up, your mind is still in a dreamlike space, right? It's the hypnopompic state and the hypnagogic state. That's like waking up and going to sleep. Those are the two most powerful times where you can really tap into your subconscious mind and rewire the neural pathways of what you're saying. So you move from, this helps to, change your habits and things like that. But those I am, so the second you wake up and say, I am tired, well, you're going to get that all day. You're going to be tired. You know what I mean? So whether you're tired or not, you can wake up and say, I am energized. I am positive. I am whatever. So this is the narrative shift of basically language choice and reframing how you move through life.
Yeah, I must say we are loving the passion and excitement that you exude in speaking on, health, which is very important. Can you share a success story of one of your clients that really, moved you?
So my very first client, the first person that reached out to me that saw me on an interview with Healthy Alternatives, she signed up for like a 15-minute consultation. And afterwards she's like, oh, can we start right now? And I'm like, well, let me get it together. So in 7 months, she's lost 100 pounds and she's been coaching with me like every week for the past 7 months. And, a lot of water fasting, intermittent fasting, and she's really changed her whole life. Like her husband is whole foods, plant-based. She isn't 100%, but her husband is, her children, everyone has really embodied this health and wellness lifestyle. She does 5Ks every month. And just, weekly talking to me sharing, my knowledge, mindset exercises, just everything that I've learned, just sharing it with her. But at the end of the day, she is doing the work. But that would be my greatest success story, so far. And she just happened to be my very first client. So it's awesome.
That really is awesome.
You are such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm gonna have to ask to put you on the spot again. Can we get one more free consultation?
Sure.
Yay! Yeah. So you're offering a free 30-minute health and wellness consultation to a 5-star listener. How do they get it? So
you can email me at hello@jazzupyourlife.com. So that's HELLO@JAZZUPYOURLIFE.com. And I would be more than happy to jumpstart you on your journey.
Yay.
I might call in. I might message you with a different name.
Yeah, we got to change our little emails. It's going to be me and Felina getting
I just, I might have to.
Yeah, before we go, Jazz, is there any question we forgot to ask or any last thing you want to share?
I just want to say, a lot of this was falling in love with myself again, right? And that's what a lot of it boils down to. A lot of us have truly lost touch with ourselves. We are buried somewhere deep inside under a whole lot of stuff, but really falling in love, desiring to fall in love with yourself again will really take you far. And you may not know what that even looks like. And that's okay too. But you have to know that that you're in there. And when you get tired of things staying the same, your fear of failure, or no, really your fear of things staying the same need to outweigh your fear of failure. And that's where the shifting begins, right?
Yeah.
It's like what's more painful, the process of making the change or the process of staying the same? Both are painful. The journey is definitely not easy or linear, but it is worth it. I would do it all over again and again because I am a totally different person. So, but I chose to fall in love with myself and jazz up my own life. And from here, I can help you jazz up yours. So,
Absolutely.
Y'all heard it
Hey,
here. Choose your pain.
exactly. Exactly. So we already know tons of people are going to be looking for Jazz. So please share with our listeners how they can find you online.
okay, my website is www.jazzupyourlife.com. I am on Facebook, jazzupyourlife.com, and Instagram, jazz, Jazz dot up dot your.life.
Hit her up, y'all. Hit her up.
Mm-hmm. Jazz, it has been a true pleasure having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we thank you all for listening, liking, and subscribing. We believe in you, and we wish you a more 5-star living journey.
Yes, join us on Facebook in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. And remember to laugh more and love more, taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by FlossieB.com, Flossie Flicks Photography, Monique.com, Flossie Locks, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Peace.